It was a cool Thursday evening when a black SUV rolled quietly up to the front of the Silver Pines Resort. The valet approached, ready to open the door, but paused when he saw the woman inside adjusting a foldable wheelchair. With calm precision, she slid it out, locked the wheels, and transferred herself into the seat. Her movement was practiced, efficient, a silent nod to the life she'd lived before and the role she was playing tonight. "Good evening, ma'am," the valet finally said, catching himself. "Let me get the door for you." "Thank you," she replied, her voice warm but clipped. Her name, at least for tonight, was Marianne Brooks, but her real name was Victoria Langston, CEO of Langston Luxe, a luxury hotel brand known for its pristine reputation. This particular branch had seen a surge in complaints lately: rudeness, poor accessibility support, dismissive management, and she wasn't about to ignore the signs. She wanted to see the truth for herself, not through spreadsheets or emails, but eye to eye with the people who ran her hotels. That's why she'd traded her corner office for a borrowed wheelchair. Inside, the lobby buzzed with quiet opulence, soft jazz, clinking glasses, and the faint scent of vanilla and eucalyptus from designer diffusers. But all that ambiance meant nothing if the people running the show lacked compassion. She wheeled up to the front desk, where a young man in a navy vest looked up from his monitor. He blinked, forced a smile, and straightened his posture. "Welcome to Silver Pines Resort. How may I help you this evening?" "I'd like a room for one night, please," she said. "Preferably one that's wheelchair accessible." He tapped the keyboard and frowned slightly. "We're almost fully booked tonight. Let me check what's available." While he typed, another voice chimed in from the back office, sharp, clipped, and clearly impatient. "Travis, if she doesn't have a reservation, we're not bending the rules," said a woman, stepping forward in heels that clicked authoritatively on the marble floor. Her name tag read, Dana Whitmore, General Manager. Marianne turned toward her calmly. "I'm okay with any room you have, really. I just need a place to stay the night. I'll manage." Dana barely glanced at her. "We don't compromise on safety, and we don't put ourselves at legal risk. If we don't have a fully accessible room, we can't house you. Simple as that." Travis cleared his throat awkwardly. "Actually, we do have room 214. It's not officially listed as accessible, but it's ground floor, near the elevator, and I can bring extra equipment if needed. It's not ideal, but—" Dana cut him off. "That's not your call to make, and I don't think our other guests want to navigate around a wheelchair in our narrow halls." The sentence hung in the air like poison. Marianne's hands stayed steady on her wheels, but her voice cooled. "Are you saying I'm a disturbance to your aesthetic?" "I'm saying we cater to a certain kind of clientele," Dana snapped. "People who book ahead, who respect our structure. I'm not turning this place into a charity case just because someone shows up unannounced." Travis looked mortified. "Ma'am, I really am sorry. I'd be happy to show you the available room so you can decide if it works for you." Marianne nodded, ignoring Dana's glare. "Thank you. That would be appreciated." As Travis guided her down the hall, she glanced back once at Dana, who was already turning back into her office. Cold, composed, unbothered. She had seen enough, for now. Marianne wasn't just here for comfort. She was here to decide who stayed and who would never walk or roll through these doors again. Travis led Marianne down a quiet hallway with tasteful art on the walls and subtle lighting. His steps were quick, almost nervous, as if afraid he might say the wrong thing and make things worse. He opened the door to room 214 and stepped aside. "It's not perfect," he admitted. "But the door is wide enough for your chair, the bed's low, and the bathroom doesn't have bars, but the shower is walk-in style. I can bring in a portable ramp if you'd like." Marianne wheeled herself in and gave the room a once-over. It wasn't ideal, but it was manageable. More than that, it showed effort. Unlike the woman at the front desk who couldn't be bothered to see her as more than an inconvenience. "This'll work for tonight," she said. "You've been very kind." Travis smiled, clearly relieved. "Anything else you need, just call. I'm here till midnight. After that, Logan will be on shift. He's solid, too." She nodded, watching him retreat down the hallway. The door clicked behind him. Marianne rolled to the window, looking out into the forested slope that hugged the back of the resort. She exhaled slowly. Already, she'd seen everything she needed in a manager she'd never met before tonight. Dana Whitmore was not only indifferent, she was discriminatory. The language she used, charity case, people like you, it wasn't even veiled. If she spoke that way in public, Marianne dreaded what her private conversations with staff were like. She powered on her tablet and pulled up internal employee logs. Dana had received several internal complaints over the past year. Subtle ones, always brushed off or investigated internally, with no action. Most came from lower-level staff, housekeeping, front desk, never management. It made sense now. There was a knock at her door. She wheeled over and opened it slightly. Travis was back, holding a tray. "I brought you tea," he said. "Chamomile. I remember you mentioned you'd had a long day. Thought it might help you relax." Marianne's brows lifted slightly, genuinely touched. "You remembered that?" He chuckled awkwardly. "I try. It's the small stuff, right? That's what separates us from the chain motels." "You're absolutely right," she said, taking the tray. "You've got good instincts." Travis smiled, nodded, and left again, leaving her with the tea and her thoughts. She sipped slowly, running over everything that had happened. The contempt, the subtle judgment, the moment Dana saw her wheelchair and immediately turned hostile. Marianne had posed as a guest, needing empathy. What she got was filtered cruelty, hidden behind polished branding. The real test, though, would come tomorrow, because no one here knew the CEO was sleeping just down the hall. The next morning came with a knock that was far too loud for comfort. "Housekeeping!" A shrill voice rang out. Marianne opened the door to a young woman, early 20s, tired eyes, holding a cart loaded with linens and cleaners. She paused when she saw the wheelchair. "Oh, sorry ma'am, I didn't know this was what?" Marianne asked calmly, but with intent. The girl stammered. I mean, I wasn't told there was a special needs room on this end of the floor." "Because it's not." The girl flushed with embarrassment. "Sorry, really. It's just Dana never lets me near the accessible rooms. Says I'm too slow." Marianne tilted her head. "Too slow?" "She says I waste too much time talking to guests," she admitted. "I don't know, I just like to be friendly. I didn't think that was a problem." "It's not," Marianne said gently. "What's your name?" "Kira." "Well, Kira, you're doing fine. And I'd rather someone take a little longer to be decent than rush through like a robot." Kira offered a grateful smile and moved on. Marianne sat back, hands folded in her lap. The pieces were falling into place. Now it was time to let the truth come out. Just not yet. By mid-morning, Dana appeared at the front desk in a pencil skirt and power blazer, sipping her latte and issuing orders like a general at war. "Travis, move that fountain arrangement. It's blocking the view from the lobby entrance. Also, I want the lunch buffet display switched. Too much color clashing. And someone call maintenance about the elevator beep. It sounds cheap." Marianne rolled silently up behind her. Dana turned and did a visible double take. "Oh, you're still here?" Marianne smiled coldly. "I am. I thought you said it was just one night." "I did. But plans change." "Well," Dana sighed, already impatient. "If you need help checking out, Travis can handle it. We've got a full booking today, and the last thing we need is congestion in the lobby." "Actually," Marianne said, leaning forward just a little, "I was hoping to have a word with you privately. About your staff. And this hotel." Dana looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. "Oh, of course," she said stiffly. "Let's step into my office, shall we?" But she had no idea the storm that was about to follow her inside.
Dana's office was a reflection of her. Sleek, controlled, overly polished. A single orchid sat on her desk next to a leather-bound planner and a gold pen that probably hadn't been used in weeks. She motioned for Marianne to wheel inside, but didn't offer help, not even a gesture. That was fine. Marianne didn't need assistance. She just needed truth. Please have a... Well, I suppose you're already comfortable, Dana said, half laughing at her own poor joke. Marianne smiled politely. I wanted to talk to you about some things I noticed during my stay. Oh? Issues with the room? We told you it wasn't up to accessible standards. I was just following policy. Liability, you understand. I'm not here to talk about policy, Marianne replied. I'm here to talk about people. Dana's eyes narrowed slightly. People. Yes, Marianne said. Specifically, how they're treated. Your staff, your guests. What I witnessed last night and this morning gave me a lot to think about. Dana leaned back in her chair, crossing her arms. Listen, I understand things might not have seemed perfect to you, but managing a hotel at this level isn't easy. Guests expect a certain atmosphere. Quiet, seamless service, attention to image. And what about attention to basic respect? Marianne asked, her voice still calm but cutting now. Because I didn't see much of that coming from you. Dana's smile faltered. Excuse me. You dismissed me the moment you saw I used a wheelchair. You didn't ask what I could manage, what my needs were. You made assumptions, and you denied help that your own staff offered freely. Travis and Kira treated me with more dignity than their manager ever did. Dana scoffed. You're seriously going to lecture me about management based on a one-night stay? You don't even know what goes into running this place. Oh, I know more than you think, Marianne said. She reached into her coat pocket and slowly pulled out a slim black card. Gold embossed. Langston Lux Executive Office. Dana's face drained of colour. Victoria Langston, she said flatly. That name. You're not just some guest. No, Marianne replied. I'm the CEO of this entire brand. I came here undercover because we've received multiple complaints about this hotel, especially about management. I needed to see the truth myself. Dana opened her mouth, closed it, then tried again. I had no idea. If I'd known... That's the point, Marianne cut in. You weren't supposed to know. I wanted to see how you behave when you think no one important is watching. And what I saw was disgraceful. Dana's voice dropped to a pleading tone. Miss Langston, Victoria, I've worked hard to maintain standards here. We cater to an exclusive clientele. We can't afford to turn this place into a free-for-all. If word gets out that we're just letting anyone with a last-minute plea in... Marianne's eyes darkened. You mean anyone in a wheelchair? Say it. Dana flinched. That's not what I meant. It's exactly what you meant. And it's exactly why we have a problem. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The silence buzzed with tension. Then Marianne continued, voice low but firm. I watched Travis go out of his way to help me, even when you ordered him not to. I spoke with Kira this morning. She told me you've punished her for being too friendly. Do you know how backwards that is? Hospitality is friendliness, empathy, making guests feel seen. Dana's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted a pen on her desk. I didn't know what you were trying to do. I thought you were just... Just what? Marianne asked. Another burden? Dana looked away. You've been running this place like an exclusive club, Marianne said. But the truth is, you've been shutting people out. People who deserve better. And my brand, my name, will not be associated with that kind of management. Dana opened her mouth to protest again, but Marianne held up a hand. I'm not done yet. I want to hear from more of your staff. Today, I want to hear how they've been treated, what they've been asked to tolerate, if the culture you've built here goes deeper than what I've already seen. Then this hotel won't just need new management, it'll need a whole new soul. Dana swallowed hard. Get your team together, Marianne said. You've got one more chance to be transparent. If you lie, spin, or shift blame again, I'll know. And it'll be the last mistake you make at this company. She turned her chair and rolled toward the door. Dana's voice was soft now, desperate. Miss Langston. Victoria. Please, I didn't mean for it to be like this. But it is like this, Marianne said without looking back. Because of you. Now let's see who else has something to say. And with that, she disappeared into the lobby, where whispers had already begun to ripple through the air. Something was happening, something big. The reckoning had begun. As Marianne wheeled back into the lobby, the atmosphere shifted. Whispers bounced across the polished walls like nervous sparks. Travis stood near the front desk, eyes wide, trying to piece together what he'd just overheard through the glass. Office door. Kira peeked from the hallway, a linen towel still in hand, unsure whether to come closer or stay hidden. Travis, Marianne said warmly, motioning him over. Can you do me a favor? Anything, he said quickly, stepping toward her. Ask the housekeeping team, front desk, and kitchen staff to meet me in the lounge in 10 minutes. I'd like to speak with them. All of them. Travis nodded and took off without hesitation. Across the room, Dana emerged from her office like a shadow, her composure cracking under the weight of truth. Her eyes darted between staff as she hissed orders to her assistant to cancel her lunch meeting and clear her schedule. For once, no one rushed to obey. 10 minutes later, the hotel's lounge, usually a place for quiet cocktails and overpriced charcuterie boards, was packed with staff. Some stood in silence, arms crossed. Others shifted nervously, not sure why they'd been summoned. Travis stood beside Marianne, Kira next to him. Dana lingered awkwardly near the bar, still clinging to the illusion of control. Marianne wheeled to the front of the room. Thank you all for coming on such short notice, she began, scanning the crowd. I know you're wondering who I am and why I asked to meet. Some already knew. Others waited in tense silence. My name is Victoria Langston, she said. I'm the CEO of Langston Lux. A stunned hush fell over the room. One employee audibly gasped. I came here undercover, not to trap anyone, not to catch people doing wrong, but to see how this hotel truly operates, without the filters of reports, emails, or rehearsed tours. I posed as a guest in a wheelchair because accessibility and empathy are values I refuse to compromise on. She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. What I experienced was a mixed picture. There were moments of kindness, of true hospitality. Travis, Kira, you two exemplify what this brand stands for. You made me feel human, not like a problem. You showed care, patience, and initiative when it mattered most. Travis looked like he might cry. Kira smiled through a tight throat. But I also saw something deeply troubling, Marianne continued. Her gaze slid over to Dana. Your general manager repeatedly dismissed and disrespected me. She refused me service not because of policy, but because of prejudice, because my presence disrupted the image she wanted to project. Dana stepped forward, her voice shaking. I was only trying to protect the standards of this property. No, Marianne cut in sharply. You were trying to protect your control. You silenced your staff. You discouraged compassion. You shamed people for doing the right thing. And that ends now. She turned to the staff. You deserve leadership that sees you, that supports you, that encourages empathy, not punishes it. Starting today, Dana Whitmore is no longer employed at this hotel, Dana gasped. You can't just fire me like this, in front of everyone. I can, Marianne said, cold and clean. And I just did. Please gather your belongings and leave the premises. Dana stood frozen for a beat, then turned sharply and stormed out, heels stabbing the floor like knives. Marianne looked back at her staff. I know many of you have been working under pressure, some even under fear. That stops now. We'll be doing full staff reviews, not to punish, but to listen. I want to know what you've seen, what's been ignored, and how we fix it. Heads nodded slowly. A few shoulders relaxed. And as for this hotel's future, she added, turning to Travis, we're going to need strong leadership. Travis's eyes widened. Wait, me? You've proven that you understand what service really means. Marianne said. Compassion, not control. Action, not excuses. If you're willing, I'd like you to take over as acting manager while we restructure this location. I don't even know what to say, Travis stammered. Say yes, yes, he said, breathless. The staff erupted into applause. Some clapped slowly, others with relief. A couple even whooped. As the noise settled, Marianne gave them one last smile. This is a new chapter for the Silver Pines Resort, and with people like you in place, I think it's going to be the best one yet. She wheeled back slowly, the applause still echoing behind her, not just for her, but for the truth finally being seen and the power of people choosing decency over indifference. And this time, no one dared call her a burden again.